Hi everyone, thank you for watching our video. We've got lots of other amazing online courses available on the Morales Method website. Please follow the link in the description to see our other online courses.
So now that we've discussed directional resistance, let's talk about some deep tissue techniques that we can do for the glutes. I'm going to first show you some techniques that you can do on my side of the table. So as a practitioner, I can tell my students that I can work across the table or I can work on my side of the table. The first technique is the one that we use to demonstrate directional resistance, and that is sinking in with my left forearm and working right next to the sacrum, feeling for directional resistance in all the different directions. When I was showing the technique for palpating the directional resistance, I was also leaning on the table. So this is a different way of doing deep tissue. Many of us were taught in our training and in our schools that we would do this type of technique. We would sink in, we would bring our butt down, and as we would bring our butt down, that will allow us to sink into the glutes. And that's fine, but sometimes some of us will start to strain in our shoulders, and we start to push down on the glutes instead of being able to use our body weight. So this is what I call kind of classic deep tissue. What I like to show is a new approach to deep tissue, and this is what I mean. I'm leaning on the edge of the table. I'm not leaning on my client's hand here. I'm leaning on the edge of the table, and that allows me to bring some more body weight onto the glute without me having to push, to exert, or to force anything. The other thing I'm doing is keeping my elbow close to my body. Notice I'm not that far away from my elbow. If I did that, if I was too far away from my elbow, then I would start to strain deltoid shoulder girdle. So I actually want to stay close to my elbow, keep that elbow close to my body so that I only need to use my body weight to create the stroke. As we mentioned before, there was some directional resistance in the medial direction. I'm feeling that, and I'm just kind of leaning into that tissue. We've been told in our typical classic training to wait several seconds. You know, I like to tell my students to wait about 40 seconds. 40 seconds is a good amount of time where you can start to feel the tissue react to this compression, to this pressure. If I wanted to go in this direction, very easily, I can just lean forward. If I wanted to go, it needed to go into the direction towards the wall, away from the camera, then what I would usually do is bring my body forward towards the camera a little more and allow that to bring my left elbow towards my body. So I am not using muscular action to do this. Instead, I'm bringing myself more over this point of my elbow, allowing gravity to push and allowing gravity basically to create that force. So I don't use muscular force in order to create the stroke. If I needed to go in that direction, towards Elena's feet, I could lean and go a little forward, basically bringing my glenohumeral joint a little more forward, pitched forward, and allow my elbow to go that way. I could do that, but I could also do another technique. And the other technique involves bringing my body behind the tool, bringing my body behind that elbow. And as I do that, I like to stabilize my client's body. I like to hold pelvis, and I'll let my other forearm rest gently on their back, being aware of the spinous processes. And here, my forearm and elbow can go in the inferior direction. Notice one thing I did is I put my left foot forward. So I've got my left elbow and left foot forward. That allows me to lean again, lean in that direction using gravity to create the stroke. Maybe you can tell this technique can also be used in other parts of the gluteals. I could come out here, closer to the greater trochanter, and use this same technique if I needed to work in this area. And if I needed to work in this area in this direction. Let's go to this territory, and I'm sinking in with my forearm / elbow. I'm moving in this direction, superior, kind of resistant, going this way, medial, pretty resistant, this way towards the wall, not as resistant, kind of easy, and then going towards Elena's feet, not so bad. I believe my first hit is that it's pretty resistant going in the superior direction. I want to check that with Elena, see how that feels. Does that feel consistent with, oh, okay, good. Sometimes it's not. You know, I'd like to check in. So I could do this technique just as I'm doing it, going this way.